Hello, welcome to this new video. We're going to talk about Stability AI's new large language model, which is a ChatGPT challenger called StableVicuna. So StableVicuna is a large language model chatbot that is based on the Vicuna model. The Vicuna model, which you can see here, is itself a fine-tuned version of Llama. So it's based on the Llama model, which is Facebook's foundational model. This one, which is a 65 billion parameters, a large language model that is made available to the community to democratize the access to large language models that are foundational to so many other applications and that are becoming a very important part of our daily lives. So the goal here is to empower researchers to move forward and faster with this foundational model that is pre-trained with the Meta's hardware and all that, so that you have just fine-tuning to do on your own to reach a better model. So that's what happened here. Stability AI just used this Llama model to create this improved version of the Vicuna model. So it can do a lot of things. It can do basic math, it can write code, and even help you with grammar. It can handle translation in a few languages. So the dataset is not huge like GPT-4 or GPT-3, but it's really promising at this early stage. So let me zoom here a little bit and show you how this can work. So you can ask for a question. I've tried it for math instruction. It's accurate. Not for everything, of course. It still has flaws and it's still in the training phase, but it's already promising. You can see an example of code that it has written here. So it's not really beautifully formatted because the front end is still in progress. They're still making it, but when it will be ready, they will drop and it will be available on their website. So you can also ask it to help you with language. So here you can see how it performs in comparison to other models. You have the Vicuna model, the 13 billion parameters version. You have Alpaca. You have other models. You have the base Vicuna model itself and others. So on various tasks, you can see how it performs. It's already pretty promising. So it has been trained or fine-tuned by using data from some other projects. So you have projects like Open Assistant, which is really great. We're going to cover it in another video. So the Open Assistant conversations dataset is actually a human-generated and human-annotated assistant style conversation. So it's basically the same thing that happened at OpenAI with the GPT models, but they did it with their professionals. They had employees. They actually outsourced that part of the process to some other companies, but the principle is the same. So but here it was done by the community that is working on the Open Assistant project. Other projects have been working and producing interesting datasets in the same style, like the GPT-4 and Alpaca. So they used all of those datasets that are corrected, that are human annotated, and that are clean to improve and to fine-tune the StableVicuna model. So they also use Anthropic's dataset of preferences about AI assistant helpfulness and harmfulness containing more than 160k human labels, and Stanford human preferences, a dataset of more than 348k collective human preferences over responses to question instructions in 18 different subject areas from cooking to philosophy. So they use TRLX as a platform, as a framework to handle the reinforcement learning and to perform the reinforcement learning based on human feedback training. So if you want to run StableVicuna, you can actually run it on your own computer, provided that you have something pretty powerful. A gaming computer is more suited for this. So you can you have to download the llama weight because it's actually released as deltas. The StableVicuna weights are released as delta weights that you put on top of the llama weight. It's like an update for the llama weight. But to comply with their license, you have to get it through the appropriated way in their GitHub repository on Facebook, the Facebook's llama repository. You can get the link there. So the link there that will lead you to a form, this Google form. You click there and you have to fill the form and wait for Google to send you a link to download the weight. When you have the llama weight, you can just download the delta StableVicuna weight and put them together by following the instructions in the repository to be able to run it on your own. So Stability AI, the company, also announces they will have upcoming chatbot interfaces. That means they will have a self-hosted version. You see that the design is very, very similar to that of ChatGPT. You can see it here. It's very similar. So they are actually trying to offer a really open source alternative to what is already out there. The goal here also being to avoid an AI monopoly to form, because if AI becomes the property of some companies, the general public might not have or might have a limited access to that AI and will have limited say-so on how the AI is supposed to work. So you can have access to it, download the weights, or just go to the web demo. So I was trying it out already. You see that it writes okay code. It understands arithmetic operations. Let's ask it something different. Write a poem about software engineering. So let's see what it comes up with. So depending on the time you're trying it, it might be less or more crowded. So this is the official demo that is hosted on Hugging Face. So at times it's cluttered when lots of people are trying it at once, so it might be slow to answer, but it's already pretty fast. So we're going to check something else as it's coming. I'll put you the link in the description for this paper for this article, and even the Vicuna article too. And so here is the GitHub for fast chat from LMSys, which is the one who created the Vicuna model on which StableVicuna is built. So here is showing you an example, the methodology. This is how you're going to install this if you want to run it on your own computer. So the server might be pretty cluttered at the moment. So let's go over this for a moment. I ask it to write a TypeScript function that fetches Pokemon from the Pokemon API and returns this. I didn't give it the address of the API. It figured it out. It must have been in the training data set, but the code it actually outputted is pretty good. Yeah, the TypeScript, just putting the type any doesn't have much, but it tried at least to put some types here, so you see you can get the data. It's working well. It's working well. So it must be pretty crowded at the moment. I don't know if this demo will go through, or try again. So it started to write. As I was saying, the server must be crowded at this moment. It's a little bit slow. It was faster a few minutes ago, but at the moment you try, if there's not too many people connected trying it at the same time, it should be faster. Software engineering, verse 1. It's putting it in verses. So I sit and think of codes, of functions and structures that I have built. My passion for engineering creates a web of thoughts that I never tire. I take in the knowledge of how code makes our life easy and free. With every line, I gain power as I write programs to conquer the world. I love to code. It is so rewarding. It makes me feel alive to do what I'm doing. Now I am a software engineer, a creator of wonder and a dreamer. I build the future with every line of code I write. I am a software engineer. And at some point it's not the most coherent, but overall it's pretty good. It's pretty good, I must say. So it can write other languages. I've tried it with assembly language. I've tried it with you can try C, you can try Python, you can try whatever language you are working the most with. So it's really promising. So this is a demo of the Vicuna model, which was prompted to give information about someone wants a 3-day travel plan, and so that's what it's giving here. Here's a sample 3-day travel plan for Hawaii. Day 1, arrive in Honolulu and check into your hotel. Visit Waikiki Beach, one of the most famous beaches in Hawaii. Explore the Pearl Harbor historic site, including the USS Arizona Memorial, and so on and so forth. So you see that the output is pretty good. The output is pretty clean. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty coherent. It's really interesting and helpful what it already does. So keep in mind that the Vicuna models are trained on the 13 billion parameters version of Llama, because there are 4 versions. There's 7 billion parameter. There is the 7 billion parameters, the 13 billion. This is the one Vicuna is built on. There's also the 33 billion parameters model and the 65 billion parameters, which is the maximum. So bear in mind that we're working with the 13 billion parameters here and fine-tuning it, but there's still a lot of room for improvement when we're going to move on to those other foundational model. And they are not the only one. There are other foundational model that are out there. Llama is just a very popular one in the open source community at the moment, and it's driving the research forward. And as we are understanding better how it works, other foundational model can emerge, and maybe you will be also working on your own. Why not? And the future in the open source AI ecosystem is very promising. It's very exciting to see all the improvement that we're having at this moment. So I invite you to check it. I will leave the links in the description, and if you also want, you can, and if you have appropriate hardware, you can follow the instructions and install it on your own device and try it at home. In the meantime, we'll be waiting for them to release the official front end that would allow people to use it directly and easily, like ChatGPT would have, without having to know anything about Python or having to perform an installation on your own. So thank you for having watched to the end of this video. I hope you're doing well and you learned something from this. We'll be covering other models soon, and we'll also be uploading more videos in the area of software engineering and artificial intelligence and tech in general. Stay tuned, subscribe, and see you later.